I believe as a Christian, I believe as a pastor, and I believe as a psychologist, that what people want above everything else is to be loved and accepted the way they are. In our weakness, in our sickness, in our strength, in our health, in our good days, in our bad days, He loves and accepts us just the way we are. I'm Jim Metcalf. I'm 63 years old as of last January. I'm married to Cindy. We have 6 adult children and lots of grandchildren. I've lived back here in Michigan since 1994. I'm a pastor of St. John Lutheran Church, and I also have a second job. I'm a Master of Counseling degree. I work as a psychologist, also part-time. My favorite song is, I guess, really Jesus Loves Me, This I Know. And it does just a really good job of containing the gospel message that I've held dear to. I think anything that takes us back to our childhood and brings us comfort from those memories is always going to hold very close in our hearts. But the idea there that we have a Lord who loves us, and that love is really the basis for the world, is just integral to everything that I believe about life and how I try to live my life and teach others to live theirs. And the assurance that the little ones, even if we're old, we belong to Him. And we're glad for that. Does this song remind me of anybody, perhaps in my family? Probably to some extent of my mother when I was young. My folks certainly believed in letting us fly. But I've tried to be that way also for my children, and I think that's really set a model for what it means to me to be a parent. That we are to love and accept our children, certainly above all others, but with all others also, just absolutely unconditionally. And that's what our theology is, that's what our faith is, that God in Jesus Christ loves and accepts us just the way we are. So that it's not a matter of proving ourselves or gaining worthiness of being accepted by God or by others. It's just kind of a given in life. But it really brings up a time I was with my first son, Peter. And we were playing catch one day and having a miserable time of it. I couldn't catch and he couldn't throw. And it was really quite frustrating. And I could see that he was getting frustrated because I was frustrated having to chase everything that he threw all over the playfield. And finally I just kind of looked at him and I knew I was going to be a little exasperated just because I was at that point in my day. Peter, do you know what you have to do in order to please me? And there's just this utter look of dejection in his face. And he said, what do I have to do, Dad? I said, all you have to do is be my son. And just instantly he brightened up. He said, well, I'm already your son. I said, exactly. And that's all we really need. You're my son and I'm your dad. And that's what matters. I heard that an old guy did this, and I think I'll do it too. And that's probably my very last sermon. This guy was reputed to be a very good preacher, and I'm a pretty good preacher. But all he did when he was called in to preach one last time, he kind of tottered up to the pulpit, and people knew that he had a way of turning it on and just really filling the room with amazing words and emotions and a well-crafted sermon. And so he stood in front of this congregation that he had loved and cared for many years and now been retired from for a few. And he looked at them and said, Jesus loves me, this I know, for the Bible tells me so. And then he sat down. What a good message to leave people with.